Hello, my name is Ami from the Digital Edit, and today I'm going to show you the really basic steps to create a frame for your CRM for your real estate business. And I'm going to do this using Trello, Google Forms, and Zapier. The reason I love using these tools is they're super user friendly, super beginner friendly, and very affordable. A basic plan on Trello is about $5 a month as of the time of this recording, and Google Forms in Zapier, you're able to get away with using just the free version, assuming you have a Google account. And so, again, this is just going to give you the basics on how to set up your CRM. In a future video, I'm going to show you how to up-level your CRM to give it a lot more functionality for both you and your clients. And so let's get started with Trello. If you're not familiar with Trello, Trello is a project management tool that uses a Kanban style layout to help organize tasks. But I love it for capturing client data and using it as a CRM because it's really intuitive on how to sort of move clients through your pipeline all the way from the time that they're first contacting you all the way through when they're closed. So to start out, I'm going to create a new board. I'm going to choose one of these fun patterns and I'm going to give it a name. The first step, once I've created my board, is I'm going to give all of my columns a name. Trello refers to them as lists, but the way that I think about them are they're basically the statuses that each client is going to go through. So I'm going to start the new one as new, or the first one is new leads, then contacted, let's say touring, negotiating, under contract, closed, and lost. Once I have all of my lists, I'm now going to create a template card. And so I'm going to add a card here. I'm going to say lead template. And there's a couple things I'm going to do here. Once you click into the card, I'm going to add custom fields that I want to capture for all of my leads. So for all of these custom fields, I'm going to use a text box. And the reason for that is it'll make it a lot easier when you're using Google Forms or any other software to connect the fields together. What I find that is if you use something like a numeric field or something else, if the other tool that you're trying to connect Trello to doesn't use the exact same format, sometimes those automations are harder to configure. So again, to keep everything basic, I'm just going to use text fields. So let's start with lead name. And we'll do email address and phone number. And then let's do budget. Do approved. And let's do lender name. And you can, of course, customize this to whatever you'd like. Okay. Now that I have my custom fields in here, I'm going to do a couple more things. I'm going to add some labels that'll help me identify and sift through clients really easily. So let's say that I want to make a label for location. So let's say I'm in Los Angeles, for example. So we'll do downtown, South Bay, West Side, and let's do Valley. And then let's also create a label for timeline. So let's say they're looking to buy a house within the next 3 months and 3 to 6 months. And let's do one more for more than 6 months. Okay, so now that I have my card set up the way that I want, and again, if you're not familiar with Trello, so now each card is going to represent a lead in my pipeline. So the name of the card is going to correlate to the name of the lead. I'm able to add labels to help me quickly identify specific leads. There's a place for descriptions and attachments. And then, of course, I have my custom fields and then a place to actually log notes on the client. So you can see within a couple minutes, I already have a lot of functionality within this to be able to track my clients. So now that I have this created the way that I want it, I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a template. And what that's going to do is it's just going to copy the format and allow me to use it in the future if I ever want to add a lead. So if I were to go back to my board, you can add a card manually, or I can add a card from a template. And I can choose my lead template that I just created, and I can give the card a name. So if I want to add a lead manually based on a conversation that I had, for example, you can create that. And again, all of the custom fields and everything that you've already done will be on the new template. Like I mentioned before, Trello is super intuitive. And so what I like about it is you, as a lead is moving through your pipeline, you can drag and drop into different columns or different statuses. And with each drag and drop, you can configure automations and custom actions, which I'll talk about in a future video. But for now, this kind of gives you the layout of what a really basic CRM would look like. Now, to take this a step further, I'm going to go over to Google Forms, and I'm going to create a form that I can then embed in an email or on my website for leads to actually contact me. And then I'm going to hook that up with Trello using Zapier so that anytime someone fills out the form that I create, it'll automatically go into my new CRM. So I'm going to go ahead and give my form a name. You can enter in a form description if you'd like as well. Perhaps input what a client can expect as next steps once they've submitted your form and what information you want them to include specifically. I'm going to get straight into the questions. So we're going to try to line these up with the fields that I created within Trello. So again, I'm going to try to default everything to a short answer field with a couple exceptions, which I'll show you. But so we're going to capture their full name. We're going to make that a required field. Let's do email address, make that required. Phone number, make that required. And then do estimated budget. And we've been pre-approved. I'm going to make this a multiple choice question. And what is your lender's name? So I'm happy with the way that my form is. You can also customize theme, text, fonts, colors, things like that. I'm going to leave it as the default for now. And once I'm done with that form, I'll go ahead and save it. And then I'll come over to Zapier. And Zapier is where I'm going to create that connection between my form that I just created as well to my Trello board. So if I go into Zapier, and let me start with a new one. So I'm going to create a new Zap. My trigger is going to be my Google form. So anytime I want someone anytime someone fills out my form, I want it to trigger that Zap. So for Google Forms, I'm going to choose new form response. I am going to choose the form that I just created, and I'm going to test that trigger. It's going to give me a test submission to play around with. Then I'm going to, as my action, I'm going to go to Trello, and I'm going to choose create card. And let's put it on the board that I just created. It's going to go into my new leads list. And I want the name of my card to be the name, the lead's full name as they submitted on the form. For description, I'm going to leave that blank for now. And then we'll put the card position at the top. So the newest leads that I receive will go to the top of my board. Remember, this is going to be who is going to be assigned to the card. So if you have a specific person on your team that you want assigned to each new lead that comes in to do that first contact, you can set that up, or you can leave it blank. And then I'm going to go through and map over the other custom fields that I created. So my lead name is going to be the full name on my form. Email address is going to be the email address, phone number, budget, and lender name. And have you been pre-approved? Okay, now I'm going to test this step just to confirm that I get that green check mark and it's all good. I'm going to do an actual test once I publish this. So if everything looks good, then you can go ahead and publish that. And now I'm going to show you how this works. So a lead comes in, they're given your form either through your website or an email, and they come in and fill out your form. It'll take a minute for the Zap to work. But if I go back to my board, you can see that leads start to populate on my board. And so it automatically gets assigned to me because that's how I had my Zap set up. I have all the leads information that they filled in. Now I can proceed to leave notes and move this lead along. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up automations based on this setup and a cool little feature to track any properties that your client is touring and or making an offer on. So stay tuned. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any other ideas for videos that you want to see in the future, please leave a comment below. Thanks all.